The 5 worst periods to be alive in history.
There have been moments in Earth's history where being alive was almost impossible. Periods where the planet turned against everything on it and survival became the most important part. These are the 5 worst times to have been.
But we're not talking 5 worst periods to be alive as a human. We're saying the 5 worst periods to be alive at all. Surely on that list has to be the giant bug period. I don't know if y'all be reading up about, you know, periods in ancient history, but the fucking time where Earth had, like, I don't know, 4 times as much oxygen as it did, and there were like 15-foot centipedes and bugs that were like the size of humans. Yeah, pass.
Alive on Earth, starting with the least terrible.
They weren't 15 feet. Okay, that was maybe an exaggeration. How big were they? What was that period called? What was the period where with giant bugs? Why does that show up? Oh my God, why is that the first fucking thing? The Carboniferous period. 359 million years ago. Oxygen levels were at 35% compared to today where they were 21%. Arthropods grew to massive sizes. Giant millipedes grew up to 8 feet long. Imagine walking. I mean, humans weren't alive, but imagine seeing that shit. Oh, fuck no. I'd still rather deal with that than dinosaurs. If we're talking worst periods to be alive as a human, dinosaurs is worse. I think worst periods alive just means, like, the struggle to survive. Probably like a blackout period.
And ending with the one that almost ended everything. At number 5, the Ice Age, 20,000 years ago. If you were a human...
Yeah, humans were alive then. They used to build, like, Neanderthal... I don't know if Neanderthals were alive 20,000 years ago. It was, that period of the Ice Age, though, humans used to take, like, mammoth tusks and bones and build shelters out of them because it was so cold that they'd freeze to death if they didn't. Imagine it just being pitch black all the time, so fucking brick-ass cold that if you walk outside and you don't have, like, clothes on, you'll freeze to death in minutes. And that's your entire life, start to finish.
Being during the last glacial maximum, the planet looked nothing like it does today. Ice sheets 2 miles thick covered most of North America and Northern Europe. Global temperatures were about 6 degrees Celsius colder than today, and the sea level was so low that you could walk from Russia to Alaska without getting your feet wet. Most of the planet was either frozen or dry.
Isn't that how Native Americans got to the U.S. originally? Was because they crossed when that land bridge existed?
Out because the ice locked up so much water that rainfall dropped everywhere. Your daily goal was to survive. You lived in a group of maybe 30 to 50 people, and you wore animal hides stitched together with bone needles, and your home was either...
Can I say I would love to experience this for 5 hours? Like, I wish I could do, like, some dirty jobs type shit where I TP back in time, live with, like, day in the life of a Neanderthal during the Ice Age, and I just kind of, like, I experience it, I see what happens, then I dip. Because I like that, when people go, oh, you could teleport back in time, that's, like, the best hypothetical, because there's no right answer. You could go back in time, where would you go? I'm like, I don't know. There's a million options. I could go to the dinosaur period, the Ice Age. I could go to the fucking crucifixion of Jesus. I could go literally anywhere. And I have to pick one.
A cave or a shelter made from mammoth bones and skins. Food meant hunting animals that were actively trying to kill you. Woolly mammoths weighed around 6 tons. Cave lions were big.
Imagine the fucking exhilarating feeling of taking down a woolly mammoth. You're starving in the wilderness in the cold with your little pack, and you have these little fucking spears. You take down a fucking 5,000-pound animal. Oh, you're going, I mean, literally just screaming to the fucking rooftops. I'd be so happy. Like, they probably celebrated for days because you're just chilling now. You have so much time on your hands because you're just good on food.
Bigger than any lion today, short-faced bears,
And it won't even go bad because everything freezes.
stood over 3 meters tall on their hind legs and could outrun you on open ground. Cave hyenas hunted in packs, and you were going after these things with sharpened sticks and rocks because, unfortunately, that's all you had. But the winter was the real killer. In Northern Europe and Asia, temperatures regularly dropped below minus 30 degrees Celsius. The sun was up for maybe 6 hours a day if you were lucky. Finding enough calories to keep your body warm meant eating.
How do you kill a mammoth? How do you kill a mammoth with just fucking sharp sticks, bro? I'm never getting over that. I understand humans are like long hunters. I know it's spears. Like what makes us better than other species is like they're fast-paced hunt kill predators, whereas we're like, we'll tire you out and then you chase them to a point where they give up and then you just kind of beat them to death over time. I just can't imagine though, a woolly mammoth could just charge you. Oh, even if you're 20 humans surrounding it, it just goes whoomp, knocks your ass out. Your best friend in your fucking pack just got his head split open and you're just like still running at that dude? Hell no. That's why it's like when the gorilla debate happened where it was like 100 people versus one gorilla. Like, yeah, I'm in the mindset of we gotta eat. They are starving, so that's also a factor. Like you feel that you haven't eaten in weeks or a week, you know, and you're like, I'm hungry as shit. We're killing this mammoth or we're dead. So you're in that mindset as well. But I mean, imagine just watching your friend get full clipped by like a fucking hyena. And you're going, yeah, let's kill it.
Hours a day if you were lucky. Finding enough calories to keep your body warm meant eating roughly 3,000 to 4,000 calories daily, which is pretty difficult when the most of the landscape is frozen and the animals you need to eat are better hunters than.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. By calorie amount, ancient humans ate more than the average person. And we have like calorie-dense slop foods. They were just eating all the time because you're just so cold, so your body's using calories to conserve heat, and you're running around way more than like a desk job.
You are. If the predators didn't get you, infection probably would. A cut from a flint tool, a broken bone from a fall, a bite from something you were trying to eat, any of these could kill you because antibiotics wouldn't exist for another 19,900 years. So your life expectancy was somewhere around 30 to 35 years, and most people weren't that lucky. But at least humans survived this. They adapted, invented better tools.
I gotta say as well, whenever I think of ancient humans, the life expectancy is also really low because of infant mortality. But imagine being an ancient human having to deliver a baby. Being not historical medical knowledge. There's no written history with you guys. Like, yes, there's word of mouth from like generation to generation, so they know how to deliver children. But like, you're just like a mother and you're like, I kind of know what's about to happen. Like, oh, you don't know what you're in for. You gotta squeeze a baby out of your fucking vagina. It's gonna be sopping wet in the cold, so it might freeze to death. Then you gotta cut the umbilical cord. You're bleeding to death now. Now what are we doing? Like, holy fuck. C-sections? Well, they weren't doing C-sections then.
Mastered fire.
Now they have stuff at hospitals. They dilate you. So they get I don't even know what medicine it is. They give it to you and it makes it easier to give birth. Imagine giving birth in like a cave. And it's 50 degrees.
And eventually, the ice melted and the world warmed up. The Ice Age was brutal, but it is nothing compared to everything else on this list.
And it's worse, dude. When I was in Wyoming, I saw a cow carcass picked clean. And it was because the mom gave birth to the calf at night in the winter. The calf froze to death because she couldn't lick it clean first. And then wolves that night ate it.
Number 4, the late Jurassic, 150 million years ago. Forget about being human for this one because we didn't exist yet. You're a small mammal. Maybe this.
Our ancestor, by the way. You are a direct descendant of something that looked like that. What the fuck? That's Gramps. That's Unk.
Small mammal. Maybe the size of a little shrew. Living in a world that was not.
Little rat. If those fuckers didn't have sex in a hole 150 million years ago, you wouldn't exist. That makes you dissociate.
True, living in a world that was not built for you. The late Jurassic was the golden age of dinosaurs, and everything was massive. The average temperature was around 20 degrees Celsius globally, there was no ice anywhere on the planet, and the continents were arranged in ways that would make a modern map completely useless. North America alone had over 40 known dinosaur species.
Favorite dinosaur right now, chat. Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus is the coolest dinosaur, and this is why. Also, fun fact, I heard this, and I said that's so true. If you ask somebody, what's your favorite dinosaur, and they can't tell you, they're boring. They suck as a person. They don't need to know the name, okay? You don't need to know the name. They have to be able to describe it. If they can't describe their favorite dinosaur, they don't need to know the name. They can't go, oh, the one with the little fucking spikes on the back. If they can't say that, they're lame. This is my favorite dinosaur. He is a tank. He is a wrecking ball tail and full armor. That is badass. He's not even, like, killing people. This is just for protection. Literally just pure meathead. It was like a hammer. You also learn a lot about somebody's favorite dinosaur. I think you could learn a lot about somebody based off their favorite dinosaur. If they like the big ones with the long necks, the Barosaurus, where they like pick leaves, that's pretty chill, versus somebody that's like, I like pterodactyls or more like predatory animals.
Living at the same time. Allosaurus, the dominant predator, weighed around 1.7 tons and accounted for 75% of all carnivore fossils found in the Morrison Formation. But Allosaurus wasn't even the biggest predator around. Saurophagonax
One of the coolest things that I heard that I'm unsure if is fully true is that like T-Rexes, instead of like in the Jurassic Park movies, which are so ass, where they go and they make a noise, they'd actually make like a lower hum that you're, like if you were a human at the time, you wouldn't really be able to register because it's lower than the tone that you're able to hear. So if they were hunting you and you heard it, you wouldn't hear it, you would just vibrate. It's quiet, so it's an ambush predator, so it's gonna be quiet around you. It's huge as fuck. And then all your whole body would shake. And you wouldn't hear it though. You would just be like, and you would turn around, then it would eat you.
The dominant predator, weighed around 1.7 tons and accounted for 75% of all carnivore fossils.
Their footsteps don't really shake their entire surroundings. Yeah, it's a lot, but dude, Jurassic Park, every scene, there's a line of trees and they're standing there. Oh, where'd the T-Rex go? Oh. Spit falls on their head every time. You're telling me you can't hear that fucker? How quiet can he be? He weighs 10,000 pounds, and he's staring right behind you. Come on. Or he breathes on them. And then the glass fogs up.
Morrison Formation. But Allosaurus wasn't even the biggest predator around. Saurophagonax weighed up to 5 tons. Torvosaurus weighed around 4. And there were at least 10 different species of theropod predators sharing the same ecosystem that could eat you in seconds. And the herbivores were no safer to be around either. Sauropods like Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus.
How much were they eating to get that big, though? That's what I can't understand. Like, bro, they're standing over trees. They're eating literally. How are plants growing fast enough to support this?
Weighed around 13 to 70 tons and could step on you the way you'd step on an ant. But the droughts made things even worse. The late Jurassic experienced severe dry seasons where water sources shrank and every animal in the ecosystem crowded around whatever was left. Fossil evidence from these drought periods shows extreme levels of cannibalism among theropods, predators attacking other predators, and scavenging on a scale that turned watering holes into killing grounds. Mammals lived in the shadow of animals that could crush them by accident, waiting for a chance that wouldn't come until an asteroid cleared the entire board. At number 3, the End Cretaceous, 66 million years ago.
I think that's the other thing too, is most people kind of group dinosaurs into one big period, but isn't it true that like T-Rexes are as far away from some other dinosaur as that dinosaur is from us? Like the period in which you know dinosaurs, it's so large that it's not like, oh, they all existed in this one period. There's a bunch of dinosaurs and some that you know existed in 100 million year block, and others existed 58 million years later.
This is the one that everyone knows about, but most people don't understand.
Yeah, Jurassic, Triassic, those periods. But Jurassic Park, yeah, Cretaceous, Jurassic, Triassic. But that's the thing is Jurassic Park just has all of them, right? Like in Jurassic Park movies, they just throw every dinosaur in.
How bad it actually was. An asteroid roughly 12 kilometers wide hit the Yucatan Peninsula at around 20 kilometers per second. The energy released was billions of times more powerful than any nuclear weapon ever built. If you were anywhere within about 1,500 kilometers of the impact, you were dead immediately. The shockwave flattened everything. Beyond that radius, things didn't get that much better. They just got slower. The impact launched billions of tons of rock and dust into the atmosphere, which blocked sunlight globally for...
Bro, that's wild though. Whenever they say that, I'm like, that's such a small... Like, I know it's a big asteroid, but what a small, like, splash zone. For it to then basically kill everything on Earth. Like, in my mind, I'm going, oh, it needs to be a meteor the size of the US.
Of rock and dust into the atmosphere, which blocked sunlight globally for years. Then, the sulfur from vaporized rock mixed with...
It's not small. I'm saying it's small in comparison to Earth.
Water vapor. Came down as acid rain that poisoned water sources across entire continents. The food chain collapsed from the bottom up. Plants couldn't photosynthesize without sunlight, so they all just died. Herbivores starved because the plants were gone, and the predators followed. And the oceans weren't really any better. The acid rain and temperature changes killed phytoplankton, which is the base of the entire marine food web. Wildfires spread across multiple continents in the days...
And then how the fuck did shit survive? How did our little, like, mole rat ancestor mammals live in a hole and not die?
Following the impact, triggered by superheated debris raining back down through the atmosphere, and the smoke from those fires added to the dust that was already blocking the sun. For months after the impact, the sky was essentially just black. The temperature swings were so extreme that regions went from tropical...
Bro, when I watch shit like this too, I'm imagining like, oh, this is on another planet. No, this is like where you're standing right now. Like this happened here.
To near freezing in weeks. Thing that couldn't burrow underground or survive underwater had almost no chance. About 75% of all species on Earth...
Oh, what are these ones called? These are chill as fuck too. They got the double horn and the one on the top. It's like very bony. Oh, this is just a triceratops.
All species...
Because they got three. Try.
On Earth went extinct, including non-avian dinosaur, every pterosaur, every marine reptile, and most of the large animals that...
LARP? I'm not LARPing being a dinosaur fan. I don't know them. I could describe them.
That had dominated the planet for over 100 million years. The animals that survived were mostly...
This was the only part of the Netflix documentary that I watched where these stupid fucks just run into each other constantly and just give themselves CT. That's their whole fighting tactic. Just running at each other. Idiots. Idiots.
The animals that survived were mostly...
And then they just go... Boom. Pass out. Wake up covered in blood. Head crushed. Do it again.
Were mostly small because they could burrow underground, eat dead organic matter, or go longer periods without food. Mammals, birds, crocodilians, turtles, small lizards, and insects, they made it through. But the recovery took millions of years, and for the species that were alive during the actual impact and its aftermath, every single day was a question of whether there would be anything left to eat the next day. At number 2, the Toba supervolcano, 74,000 years ago. This one is specifically about humans, and it's the closest our species ever came to...
Yeah, wasn't there like 2,000 humans left on Earth total?
Extinction. Around 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano in what is now Indonesia erupted with a force that makes every other volcanic eruption in human history.
Which is wild, because that means like that's why, dude, we have all similar ancestors. Like any person in chat or in the world, if you go enough generations back, you're related. in some way.
History looked like a campfire. It launched over 2,800 cubic kilometers of material into the atmosphere, which is roughly enough to bury the entire United States under a layer of ash. The eruption triggered a volcanic winter that lasted somewhere between 6 and 10 years. Global temperatures dropped by as much as 15 degrees Celsius, and same as with the asteroid, the sunlight was blocked, which killed plants and made predators starve. But unlike 66 million years ago, this time we were now living through it. We were already a relatively small population of early Homo sapiens living in Africa and possibly parts of Asia, and we got hit with the worst climate crisis any human had ever faced. The total human population dropped to somewhere between 3,000 and 10,000 individuals.
That's insane, dude.
Trying to survive in a world.
That's like a little more than this Twitch chat on the larger end. Like, imagine we were the only people left alive.
World where the sun barely came through and there was nothing to eat. Every single person alive today is descended from that.
That'd be terrible, bro. Oh my God. Me and Twitch chat. Trying to figure out how to make a city. Oh, we'd all be dead. We'd be dead in minutes.
Survivors, including you. The genetic bottleneck is so tight that humans have less genetic diversity than most primate species, and Toba is the leading explanation for why. If you were alive during those years, you spent your entire existence searching for whatever you could find in a dying landscape while your group got smaller and smaller every season. Hunting was nearly impossible because the animals you depended on were starving too, and many of them simply died out in your area. You ate shellfish, roots, insects, whatever was left on the coastlines that still had any life to them at all.
Yeah, just full
the fact
scavenging.
that anyone survived is genuinely difficult to explain, and some researchers think it all came down to a handful of coastal populations in southern Africa that could still access marine food sources when everything inland was gone. And at number 1, the Permian extinction, 252 million years ago. This is the big one, the worst thing that has ever happened to life on Earth. Scientists call it the Great Dying, and the name is not dramatic enough for what actually happened. 252 million years ago, a volcanic system in what is now Siberia, known as the Siberian Traps, started erupting. And it wasn't a single volcano. It was a volcanic province the size of Western Europe that poured lava across millions of square kilometers for roughly a million years.
Yo, and like, how do we know when that's gonna happen? Like, is there a chance like Yellowstone just like explodes randomly? Like, how do we, I know we monitor that and there's people that like know, but like, couldn't Yellowstone theoretically just go, yeah, boom, and just explode? I gotta Google that. Could Yellowstone erupt at any time? No, it won't erupt anytime soon. It's an active volcanic system that will erupt again in the future. Scientists currently see no signs that an eruption's imminent. If an eruption happens, it'll likely be one similar to 70,000 years ago rather than a catastrophic massive explosion. The idea that Yellowstone erupts every 600,000 years is overdue is incorrect. Yeah, because that's like a theory people say where it's like, oh, we're due for an eruption soon. It says, yes, the United States would survive a Yellowstone super eruption, though it would face a catastrophic national disaster that would reshape the country. Everyone would die. Everyone would die. What the fuck are we talking about? The U.S. would be flattened. That would be terrible. Everybody, dude, okay, yeah, would people survive? Sure. The country would be done. It wouldn't cause human extinction. Yeah, not in the world. How many people in the U.S. would die if Yellowstone erupted? Immediately 90,000 from just the lava flow. That's less than I would have thought. But that's also because nobody lives in Wyoming and Montana. I think it's more so after. Yeah, but we also have other materials and supplies, so it's like, okay, the fucking sun gets blocked out.
Eruptions released an estimated 100,000 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, along with massive amounts of sulfur dioxide, methane, and other gases that turned the planet into something barely recognizable. Global temperatures rose by about 10 degrees Celsius. The oceans warmed up so much they couldn't hold dissolved oxygen anymore, turning vast stretches of deep water into dead zones. Hydrogen sulfide, a gas that is toxic to most life, started bubbling up from these oxygen-starved oceans into the atmosphere. The ozone layer was damaged by the chemical reactions, allowing increased ultraviolet radiation to reach the surface, which mutated plant spores and killed vegetation across entire continents. The numbers are almost impossible to process. About 96% of all marine species disappeared. 70% of terrestrial vertebrates went extinct. Even insects, which had survived every other mass extinction in Earth's history, lost more than half of their families. The entire ecosystem didn't just collapse, it ceased to exist. Coral reefs vanished completely and didn't recover for 10 million years. Forests disappeared from the tropics and were replaced by fungal blooms feeding on the dead wood. If you were alive during the Permian extinction, here's what your world would have looked like. The air was hot, thick with CO2, and in coastal areas, poisonous from hydrogen sulfide seeping out of the ocean. The sky had a strange greenish tint from all the gas, and the smell was unbearable. The water was warm and oxygen-pleated, killing everything that couldn't surface to breathe. Rivers and lakes turned stagnant and toxic, acid.
But then what's surviving? Are there just like little pockets of areas that are like somewhat livable where like creatures adapt and they're just kind of lucky off rip?
Rain stripped vegetation from the land until entire landscapes were just bare rock and mud. The soil eroded into the landscape in massive quantities, further smothering marine life. The temperatures were so extreme that in equatorial regions, nothing complex could survive on land at all, with surface temperatures reaching over 50 degrees Celsius in some areas.
Freedom units. What is that? Surface temperature, 50 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. 122. Okay, so the average land area was like being in the Arizona desert.
And the only habitable zones were pushed toward the poles, which had gone from frozen to temperate. The recovery took somewhere between 5 and 10 million years. For context, the entire existence of the genus Homo, from the earliest human ancestor to you watching this right now, spans about 2.8 million years. The Earth was essentially broken for at least twice as long as humans have existed. Life did eventually come back, and the survivors went on to become the ancestors of dinosaurs, mammals, and everything else that followed. But for those millions of years during and after the Great Dying,
I always think about how if humans don't go extinct and we somehow survive as a species for millions of years, we'll be the equivalent of how we see apes. Like, we're fucking stupid. Like, we're dumb, idiot, animal creatures. Like, I'm saying, like, millions of years from now, we would be, like, sub-evolved humans that are, like, lame chuds. Like, that's, like, where... I'm too smart, though. No, we would be dumb as fuck. I mean, I think there's like a reversal going on just because like high technology just allows everybody to just have everything done for them. So maybe we're in a Wall-E verse at some point where like humans are just dumb as fuck and robots control the world. But like, I'm saying, say that doesn't happen and humans do survive, that would be crazy.
the planet was as close to sterile as it has ever been since life first appeared over 3 billion years ago. These were the 5 different ways.
All right, WVED. Bro in my chat just said not to be annoying, but recap. Recap, the video's over.